Welcome to the Live Explore podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit like and subscribe.
I'm here with Kristin and Poppy. Poppy is a member of the Kai Wai Outrigger Canoe Club. We'll get back on how to pronounce that. And Kristin, her mom, is here to tell us how the fundraising is going. There's an ultralight canoe that has been ordered. It's $25,000.
Yep.
Right? And is due to arrive sometime this spring, correct?
Woo!
Great. I'm Alan Maceo. This is Live Better, Explore More podcast. Welcome, Kristin and
you.
Poppy.
Thank you.
All right, Kristin, first off, where is the club in relation to the $25,000?
Well, it's great. It's exciting. We've raised $11,000, so we have $14K to go before the spring, and we're pretty optimistic we're going to get there. We've done all kinds of, the money has already been raised in this really cool way. We started out by going to just the club members and asking them, like, hey, this is something that's important to you. You see the value. Come on, help us donate. And what really started this is that there was a member of the club who offered a challenge grant. So everybody stepped in and started donating, which was really exciting. So now we're at this place where we're really starting to see some momentum, get some money going toward the canoe, and we're going public now and talking about it so we can raise it from the bigger set of friends and people who love the Petaluma River and love being out on the water and seeing the value of all of that experience.
That was at your house?
That was
the 11 was raised.
Yeah,
that was raised
at our
like
house.
that.
Yeah.
I know somebody took my checkbook and wrote a check
I was me.
on my behalf.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I did sign it though. All right, do club dues go towards the canoe? So, you got the club members, they pay these dues, and we'll go over dues, right,
Yeah.
later, right? Will the dues go towards the canoe?
Nope, not at all.
Wow.
I know. So the dues are really just to cover the annual cost of being out on the river. So it pays for the moorage for the boat. It pays for insurance, which is probably the biggest part of this, and any kind of maintenance to the boats and the docks, because we're really kind of in partnership with the city of Petaluma to use that space. So the club is really committed to ensuring that, the dock is always clean, and the storage is really good, and there's no trash going in the river, really ensuring that the space is in good shape. And any of the costs that we might accrue around that, that's covered in those dues.
Okay. And then what does it cost? So you got the adult, and then you got the kike, right?
Yeah.
Is that, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does kike mean?
It means kids or children.
But you're not really a child. You're a teenager.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So can we just say young?
Yeah.
It's the young people.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
We're going to upgrade this.
People rising through the generations of canoeing.
We'll put you in charge of telling Chemo this is the new definition. Okay. So what does it cost to join the club?
So it's $265 for adults. Kids is less. I think it's $180.
Okay.
And it's for the whole year. So it's, anytime you're going out, it's that amount. You're not paying extra stuff along the way. So it's really pretty affordable,
So when I pay $265, that's it. There's no other
other cost, yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing that I think that is so special about Kai Wai is that there's a lot of scholarships that are offered for young people. So if you're a young person who just wants to be out on the river, but if cost is a barrier or anything like that, the club is built-in cost. Some of that is supporting young people to get out. So it's pretty easy if money is not the object for the kids to get out.
Right. What's the goal for kids in terms of the young ones?
Mm-hmm. The young people.
Yeah. What's the goal of how many? What could the club support right now? Because you have to have enough canoes, right?
Yeah.
If you have 100 kids show up, you don't have room.
Yeah, this is ultimately the issue right now, and part of why we're fundraising for a new boat is because we've seen so much value in getting those kids out the door and into the boats, and we want more seats. Yeah. So when the season is going, the kids go out at a different time than the adults, and so that gives more seats, more opportunities for them to have time. In the off season, like right now, the kids are actually in the boats with the adults. So, like, Poppy was out on Saturday, and there was not a ton of kids out, but they were all mixed in with the adults.
Yeah.
You had 3 boats out?
We had our double out, which is when we take 2 canoes and we take the part that sticks out.
What's
the
that called?
ama.
Yeah.
And we took it off and put boards across both of the canoes to make it 2 canoes right next to each other. So you're really in tune with the other canoe, and that's our double canoe.
Nice.
So when they are able to do that, they can get more people out there. I don't know how many seats total they have, because some of the boats are small, right? They're just a single person, like, what is that called, Poppy?
It's called an OC1 or a V1.
Right.
What are you, an engineer?
In training.
So why does the club need this canoe? It's an ultralight. I mean, what does that mean? What are we doing with this thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is about getting more kids out. That's a big part of it, is growing our capacity for that program to really get bigger. You know, this is, I think, is one of the most important things about the club, is what it offers to young people. And, you know, we can see the drive from all of those early founders. I mean, the club hasn't been around forever, but from the founders, it was really about getting kids involved in canoeing. And so having the opportunity to get more seats, that's huge. That's a big piece of that. But I see something even more special than just that part of it. What I love about Kai Wai is it's the bigger value for the whole community. It's not just like what I love seeing Poppy do, because she's totally madly in love with this as a sport, but I see the value really being the aloha culture. You know, the piece that drives everybody and pulls everyone together. Those values around like kindness and stewardship and inclusivity. You know, all these things that are really, really important. I think that's what is so important, and why watching those kids come out on the water is so enriching for them and also for the rest of the community. You know, there's I'm sure you've heard this so many times, but there's a Hawaiian phrase about if you take care of the water takes care of you.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So that to me exemplifies all of why this is such an important club and organization for our community. You know, we are caring for the water. We're caring for each other. The adults are mentoring young people, and the young people are inspiring adults. We're taking care of the water. We're seeing the connectiveness between the Petaluma River and the Greater Bay Area water systems. Like, all of that to me is why this is so valuable, and why we need that boat is to get more of those kids out there connecting to all those values.
I don't know that the kids inspire the adults.
You don't think so?
I've been out there in the canoe where I was the one adult with 5 kids racing against another canoe with all adults, and the kids kicked their butts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's inspirational. That's kind of Debbie Downer.
Yeah, well.
How do you feel about yourself making old people feel bad?
Honestly, it's a pretty great feeling.
You're miserable.
I think you should practice more.
I was in the canoe with them, so I was like, "This doesn't
you're
make
like,
any
"Okay."
sense. Why is our canoe kicking their butts? They got some good paddlers, but they were getting their butts kicked."
Yeah. So maybe you should tell Alan about the Santa Cruz race.
Oh yeah, that was my first 5-mile race, and it was with 3 kids and 3 adults. Kimo was steering, and we had a kid stroking or sitting seat 1, setting the pace for everyone. And we were paddling and just paddling away. And by the end of it, we were coming up on the finish line, maybe 500 meters left. And there were 2 boats already in front of us that we knew we couldn't pass. And there was a boat behind us just like screaming at each other to keep paddling. But we kept paddling away, and we beat like 15 other boats.
And it should be said
Yeah.
that this was in the open class, and they were the only kids.
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, there's that.
That doesn't really surprise. After
Yeah.
being on the river with them,
Yeah.
that doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
That at all. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: the person. So go over. You talked about seat 1.
Right.
So go ahead and tell us, like, there's seat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
So,
So
seat 1 is the stroker.
right. They set the pace for everybody. And there's a lot of communication between seat 1 and seat 6, which is another, like, extremely important seat. Seat 6 steers, and they're kind of the coach of the boat. And seat 1 has to tell seat 6 what they're seeing ahead, how close a dock is to the front of the boat. There's a lot of communication between those two seats. Seat 2 helps set the pace up at the front of the boat, and starts to bring in more power. And then seat 3 and 4, seat 3, 4, and 5, they're what Chemo calls like the engine room. They're the people supplying just all of the power. And seat 3 usually calls the changes of switching from one side to another.
Is there a particular phrase or word that is used? I mean, what determines when to change?
So seat 3 is counting in their head. They count 10 strokes, and then at stroke 11, they yell to the boat, "Hut!" And then on stroke 12, they say, "Ho!" And then you switch sides.
Wow. Seat 6, though, the reality is that's the person who gets to yell at everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, that's...
Keep your eyes straight. Pay attention to the person. All right? They're
Yeah.
the mean one.
Yeah, I mean, when it's Chemo, it can be really mean or it can be, like, really nice, you know?
That's good. Oh, your dues just went up.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right, so Kai Wai. What do you say?
I say Kai Wai because there's a lot of other people that when I'm talking to about Kai Wai, I'll say Kai Wai or I'll say Kai Wai and they'll be like, but it's spelled with a W. And I'm just like, but it's Hawaiian, so I just find it easier to say Kai Wai. And a lot of there's another club that's Kai Wai. That's a really good club. So when we're competing at regattas or races, we say Kai Wai. But when I'm just talking to other people, I usually just say Kai Wai.
Tell me what you like about the club.
Oh, so much. There's being out on the water. That connection is just super amazing and empowering. And the club itself is some of the kindest people I've ever met. They facilitate this community of respect and kindness and appreciation for one another that I haven't seen anywhere else.
How long have you been with the club?
I've been with the club since early May, late April.
Last year.
Of last year, yeah.
I came on right after you then.
Really?
I came in like in the.
Oh.
I raced in the Bay, San Francisco.
Alameda?
No,
Oh.
right at Sausalito.
Oh, that was
This-
was one when I came back from a bunch of vacations that I was like maybe and just decided not to.
Yeah, it was fun. That's a blast getting in the water. So, did
Yeah.
you like being on the water before this? You know, what was your relationship in terms of water? Like, did you swim? Did you?
I did a lot of swimming. A lot of my friends had pools, and I used to go to a summer camp where it was just 8 kids at most, and we would go swim in rivers and go on hikes and go to the beach, and that was my connection to nature before this. And then after COVID, we didn't have it anymore, and then I got back on the water with Kai Wai, and that was my connection to the water.
Now, how many races besides Santa Cruz?
Besides Santa Cruz, 4 races and 1 charity event.
Is that Napa?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. On race day, I'm always big at, like, I was a runner, and the vibe before the race was always something. If you just step back and watch, you could really see people, anxiety, or some people are, you can see the reaction on their face. And so my one race, I couldn't believe how many people there are. First of all, at a race,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah,
right?
each boat has 6 people, and there's like 15 to 20 boats.
And there's all age groups. It's not like it's not all your age or all my age, right? It's all a whole a wide range.
It's all of the classes competing in the same race.
What do you mean by classes?
There's you'll have your keiki class, which is your kids or young people. You'll have your novice, which are people who have recently started, like 2 years of experience, 5 years of experience, and then you have your open class, which is people who have been doing it for a while. And then there's a class above that I cannot remember the name of, but that's people who have been doing it for like 20, 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So race day, what's it like for you? What do you see? What do you feel? What goes on for you?
Race day is always like, the anxiety doesn't hit you till you're in the boat. Before race, it's one of the chillest environments I've ever been in. Like, people bring so much food, and it's just kind of a celebration and just hanging out. And most of our races are early in the morning, so there's always coffee, and sometimes people bring pastries, and it's hanging out with your club. And then you go over your seating assignments, and then once you're in the boat, you're just like, it just finally hits you of like, oh, I'm actually like doing this and I'm competing. And we in the Petaluma River, we don't have waves. Like it's pretty flat. And my first race, where we actually had waves, we got out to the starting line, which was kind of far behind the shore, and then the waves came, and I felt the boat rock, and my stomach just dropped. Like, oh no. But once you start paddling, you just get into that rhythm, and you keep paddling until you realize the finish line's 100 meters up ahead.
So there you go. Your friends, right? Or even people that you don't know, they're your age. Maybe they know about it, right? Maybe they've seen the outriggers in the river. What is it that you'd like them to know? I mean, what could you tell them about Kai Wai, right? That might help them. Maybe it doesn't help them do anything other than they understand it.
I'd say it's not your traditional canoeing. It's not just one guy in a boat. It's serious. It's a workout. It's a sport, but it's also unlike any other sport. There's such that loving community, and it has certainly changed my perspective on things.
Have you tried other sports?
I've done soccer.
And I'm going to guess you don't do that anymore?
I did like a casual league. It was fun. It was fun, but, it's not something I'm super passionate about. Like, at that point, it was just taking up days in the week.
That's not good.
Yeah.
What could the club do to attract more young paddlers?
Just, staying out there and being a part of community events, and we were gonna do the winter boat parade, but then we called it off because we didn't want our paddlers to get sick because it was chucking it down that night. But those sorts of things of just staying involved with the community and being a part of local events and other charity events, and really engaging with the river and people on the river.
for anybody. This could be the young people, right? Or the adults.
Or the old people.
Or the old people. I was trying to leave that part out. Let's just stick with the young.
I'll own it.
Would it be good for them to come down and just try it, right? Or do they have to come down and join the club first? Or, what would you've obviously been there long enough now, not quite a year, but long enough. What would you suggest, like your friends, if they said, I don't know should you invite them down for a day on the water or what?
Yeah, I would just say, come on down to a practice, especially if it's in right after the season has ended, because that's when it's still warm out, and we're not really practicing for a big race. Or I would say, we've got a race coming up. Come just hang out and watch. There's gonna be food. It's gonna be so much fun. I'll be out for 45 minutes to an hour. I'll be back.
I'll take pictures.
Yeah.
What about, that's kind of a ways off, right? The end of season hasn't even started yet, and already you're saying wait 7 months.
I think now's a perfect time to get out.
Now's an excellent time. But if people really hate the cold, maybe wait a few weeks,
But you don't really get that cold I've been out in the water with these guys, and it's been cold to get into it. And once you start paddling,
you'll start with
you're starting to shed the jacket.
3 layers on, and then once you start paddling, it's just 2 of them are already off. Yeah.
Would it be good from a fundraising standpoint if you set up hey, we're not this Sunday, but on a given Sunday.
Thank you.
There you go. On a given Sunday, we're going to open up the canoes. Anybody could come down and try it. We'll have some of the veterans here to, help you learn how to do it. And so they could try it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the cool things about this club is that they're very open to just having people join at any point. Maybe not even join, but participate in getting in a boat. So people could just swing by. The caveat is you have to fill out a waiver first. So you can go to our website.
Which is?
It's www.kaiwainb.org. So on the waivers there, you could just fill that out. We can get back to you really quickly once we get that waiver and let you know what the schedule is so that anyone can just come and jump on a boat either during the weekend or once they start practicing again in the evenings as well. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I think from my perspective, I've only been in the boat once because, parents don't always get invited to their kids' things.
It's my sport.
I know. Did you hear that?
I did.
But it's amazing. It was such a great experience. And so I would just encourage anybody who even has just a tiny curiosity to just come on and enjoy an hour and a half on the water and see what that experience is like for you. It's great. Yeah.
So outreach, we've kind of touched on it, and you have some numbers. But where, and I did see the sign hanging on the fence over there at the empty lot, right?
Yeah.
What else can be done, right? What other ideas? If a company wanted to sponsor.
Absolutely.
Because there's always names on the side of the canoe.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been a decision made about what it takes to get there? How much?
What those thresholds and those numbers are?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there are some ideas, and the fundraising committee who's spearheading this, they've got a lot of the details. So I'd say if any business, any organization is interested, let us know. The club members have been asked to do their own outreach and to send information out to other organizations as well. And we would just really encourage, let's start that communication going so that we can identify what other organizations or businesses might be interested in sponsorship. They might be interested in just making a gift, or if they have something that's in kind that might help us. One thing that we're hoping to do very soon is have an actual community event. So maybe it's a little bit about getting out on the water, and maybe it's a celebration of, getting a boat and this is the people that are a part of that. And part of that will be raising some money. So going a little bit wider than just our club, but hosting an event to bring some of those organizations together, letting them see the people that are a part of this, letting them get to know those kids, those young people who are a part of the program so that they can see the real impact it has. You know, one of the things I love is that I've seen Poppy like twice be like, can we go do a river cleanup? Because she sees how much trash can get on the, gets left. And so she's like,
right.
yeah.
Especially after these past rains.
Yeah. To really think about ways that's bigger than just being out on the river and having a sport, but like, hey, look at what the outcome is and how you can make an impact. So I think for organizations to see, like, this is the ripple effect.
Right.
This is what's happening when these kids get out on the river. It's pretty powerful.
The river's a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
How many young people are in the club? Do you know? Roughly? Or do you know?
I don't know.
I mean, just think about,
there's around
roughly 15?
20 right
20?
now. I might be a little wrong, but they're not all active.
Yeah.
Some are coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a goal for the number of kids? Like for this year, like if we could get to this number?
I wish I knew the answer to that, but I don't know.
I'm just making that up now.
I think it's just,
You have all the
get
answers,
as many
kid. Let's go.
people, get as many kids out on the river as we can.
Yeah.
Right.
Butts and boats.
That's that's the event on Sunday. Butts and boats. I like that. That's good. I think that setting up a date, right? When you do the outreach, right, and come on down, jump in, go out and paddle for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. It exposes people to it, and then also fundraise.
Yep.
Right. I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that I didn't ask you that I'm not smart enough to know about paddling that you think people should know, other than you don't really like it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Fundraising.
Yeah.
Anybody who sees us and says, I want to donate.
Yeah.
How do they get a hold of you? Do they get a hold of you? Do they just go to the website?
Yeah.
Okay, they don't call anybody, just go to the website.
So go to the website. We're all volunteer run, so it's not like we have an office or something. There's no staff to answer your phone call. So I would say send a message through the website. There is a donation link. We know a lot of donations are really easy to be done online, but others it's probably easier to have a conversation, especially if you're a business or a sponsoring organization. So do that. Send us a message through the website, and then we'll circle back to you right away and have the conversation. So, it's about making sure that all those organizations get what they need to make their gift. And it is a charitable deduction, so you'll get your tax.
You're a 501c3?
501c3. Yeah, so do you know the story about Kai Wai? How
Tell
it
us.
came out? I'll tell you. So this was an organization that existed, a nonprofit that existed in the Salton Sea. And they were kind of wrapping up their nonprofit, and they had these boats, they had a club, they were doing things, but they were done. It had a good run. And so they put the word out and said, is there anyone out there who wants to take over the 501c3, the nonprofit status, and have the boats? But there's a caveat. You've got to run the young person's program along the way.
Yeah.
Look at that, we got it.
Yeah, and we got it. So, a handful of these really dedicated folks in Petaluma came together and said, we're willing to take this on and start that process. So they were able to get the boats. So the boats that we have before we're at the ultralight they're old, they're heavy.
They're very heavy.
But you know what? They were such a generous donation, and we've got that charitable status that we can hang our hat on. Because, this is not a money-making venture. Our dues aren't making money. None of that's doing anything. So we're really able to kind of build a program that meets the whole community's need because of that nonprofit status. It's pretty cool.
It is cool. That is very cool.
Yeah.
If I want to donate, what's the website?
It's www.kaiwainb.org.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you both
You
for
are
being
so
here.
welcome.
Thank
It's
you
nice
so
to
much.
have you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
There you go.
Welcome to the Live Explore podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit like and subscribe.